同学们好.
老师好。
Great to see you. It's the 22nd of May. We're getting near the end of the third section. Thank you for your question, Lorraine, about what we're going to do going forward. Let's talk about it at the end in the announcements. But we've probably got about another month or so we'll go through until the end of June, and we'll probably have a couple of review classes. That'll take us to the end of the form, to the end of June, and then we'll probably just have group practices for a while. We'll talk about that. So let us start with standing practice. And we'll just do standing practice. And this month, this is the last Wednesday in May, we've been talking about shoulders down, elbows down as the essential. And so today what I'd like to do is connect that to the other posture elements. Hey Rogelio, good to see you. So
Hello.
adopt your standing practice pose, and let's just go through the usual set of checks. So feel your feet solidly on the ground, front and back, on the inside and the outside. Your toes touching, ball and heel even weighted. Now go up, sense your waist, your hips dropping straight down. To help the hips drop down, absorb the chest by extending the elbows out from the shoulders. Now feel the shoulders sinking down, elbows dropping. And feel the head rising up. Crown of the head lifts up. Everything else sinks down. All of these elements of posture are connected. If one of them isn't right, they'll all be slightly wrong. So we want to work on all of them, and they help each other. So as your head rises up, it'll help your shoulders to sink. So raising the head sinks the shoulders, drops the elbows. As you drop your shoulders, absorb the chest. So you're wrapping your shoulder blades around the ribs, connecting the arms left and right across the small of your back. And sinking your shoulders helps your qi, your breath, to sink to the dantian, your breathing in the abdomen. So having a nice relaxed waist helps with the shoulders, and the shoulders helps with a relaxed waist. So just take another minute or so, just attend to your breathing and go through those 4 posture checks for yourself in your own time. And what you find is, as you stand, your body will gradually start correcting itself. Stuff will change, stuff will move. And it's the practice actually teaching you. So let's come out of that and drop the hands, circle them up. We'll do gazing at the moon, so gaze up at the 45-degree, press down, breathing out. Rotate and lift from the bottom, number 2. Breathing in, breathing out as you press down. And the last one, number 3, pressing down. And release. Go back into prepare posture, hands down the side of your legs. Okay, good. So last week we did high pat on horse with palm thrust, and then we did turn body cross kick, which is most of the stuff in the third chunk of the third section. We still have punch to the groin, so after we've done the kick, today we'll do punch to the groin. There'll be a transition to grass bird's tail from that. And then we'll start with the last chunk, the fourth chunk of the third section, with step up 7 stars. And so let's see how we go. Let's just practice the form. We'll skip the first chunk of the third section, in other words, parting wild horses, mane, and fair lady work shuttles. And we'll start with the second one, practice through to where we got to last week, and if there are any questions, things you want to discuss, let's do that then. Okay, we're in single whip after parting wild horses, mane, fair lady work shuttles. And so this is the second chunk. It begins with cloud hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snake creeps down. Golden rooster stands on one leg. 1, 2. Step back repulse monkey. 1, 2, 3. Diagonal flying. Raise hands, step forward. White crane spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Needle at sea bottom. Fan through the back. Turn body. White snake spits out its tongue. Parry, block and punch. Grassbird's tail. Single whip. Cloud hands. Two. Three. High pat on horse, thrust palm. Turn body, cross kick. And stop there. Okay, so that's as far as we got last week. Great to see you, Rogelio. So, any questions on any of that? Lorraine, yes, please.
On the high pat on horse, can you show the coordination of the footwork and the hands?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So that's a very good point to actually, let me just see. Yes. And so that's the movement that we did last week, and then we did turn body cross kick. So that's absolutely the things I wanted to review. So you're interested in the coordination of the footwork and the arm movements. Okay. So we start with single whip. So then let's do yeah. So shifting back weight, rotate the left hand and sit the right hand as your weight is about 50-50. As you keep shifting back your weight, you'll see the front toe lifts, the right hand comes into the shoulder. This is 2, and then 3, step with the left foot, center line to sides, strike out. So that it's a 3 count. So let's just do that again. So we're in single whip. 1, shift back weight, sit the right palm. 2, keep shifting back, bring the right palm in. 3, step and strike. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So now with this, we've done high pat on horse before. Now we're going to do thrust palm. And actually, one of the things since Susan is back a little bit later, I'll just go through all the applications that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks with her help. But so after we've done high pat on horse, we're going to do thrust palm. And so let's just review thrust palm. So the footwork is straightforward. We're going to shift, because we've got 30% on the front foot. So shift the weight back so that the weight comes off the front foot, pick it up, step into a bow stance, shift forward into a bow stance. So that's how you're going to do thrust palm. So we're here, we've done high pat on horse, change footwork. Now, once your heel is down, you're going to thrust, nope, I'll come to here. So from here, high pat on horse, step wider. The left arm is going to go to neck height. The right hand is going to come under the upper arm. So you're going to end up like this. So from thrust palm, the left hand is going to go out and the right hand is going to come in. And you're going to end up with a back of your hand touching the inside, the underneath of your forearm. So that's thrust palm. And we have the fingertips out, although as we discussed last week, it's actually going for your opponent's neck with a tiger's mouth, but we actually have the fingers straight out. Yep, and the other thing, just last thing in terms of posture, is this is a forward bow stance. So we are leaning forward. We're not, torso isn't vertical, torso is leaning here. And last thing, make sure that you're not, that your forearm, this forearm is in fact square to the direction you're going, so that there's actually a 90-degree angle between your upper arm and your forearm. So that will get your chest in the right direction, because you don't want the chest too open, but you don't want the chest square either. So it's between straight and corner, the chest, after you finished. Rogelio, you had a question?
Yeah, could you repeat the pointing of the left hand?
Yes,
Is it the fingers or the tiger's mouth
it's the
going?
fingers.
It's the fingers.
The way
Thank
we
you.
show it is the fingers are just straight out. The meaning
Oh,
that we think about is the tiger's mouth, but we don't show it that way. We show it this way.
so the meaning is the tiger's mouth going for the neck, or okay.
Thrusting to the neck. So your thrust, your palm is neck height. So your palm is just a bit over shoulder height.
Okay.
That's where you're thrusting.
Thank you.
Good. Let's review those two movements together and let's just practice them a few more times. So we're in single whip. 1, start shifting weight back, rotate left hand, sit the right, keep shifting back, lift the left toe, right hand in. Change footwork, striking out. Check your left hand is in front of your ribs, the corner of your ribs. Your right palm edge is at the center line. Thrust palm, shift weight slightly back, pick up the left foot, step it out, shoulder width apart. Come forward with the left arm, bring back the right arm. That's number 3. Again, so we're back in a bow stance. We can just keep doing this in circles. So shift back weight, sit the right hand, rotate the left. Keep shifting back, right hand into the shoulder. Change footwork, root and strike. Thrust palm, shift weight back, pick up the left foot, shift weight forward, left hand out, right hand in. Again, we're back in a bow stance. We can just start in this stance. High pat, shift back weight, sit the right hand, bring it in on 2, then bring the left foot in and strike on 3. Thrust palm, shift weight back, pick up the left foot, step wider, thrusting out. And your gaze is always to the straight direction, so the gaze isn't going anywhere. Are there any questions about that? Is that good? Good. Okay, let's just keep going, and then I'll just watch you once we've done doing these two movements together. So we've done high pat on horse, thrust palm, which in the count is 1 movement, although it really is 2. Now we're going to do turn body cross kick, which is a right heel kick. So let's do the standard footwork first. So we're in left bow stance. Shift weight back to the right, pivot the left heel, come all the way around. As you sit back onto the left, cross your arms, stand up, look in the kicking direction, flex your right foot, heel kick. Bring the foot down, toe pointing down. Okay, and again. So let's do the accommodation footwork. Shift weight back, bring the left foot around as far as it'll go. Walk around, step behind you with the right foot, bring the left foot to the corner, rotate the arms so that your arms are crossed, stand up, kick. Let's do that one again, accommodation footwork again. Shift weight back, turn the left toe as far as it goes, walk yourself around, get your arms into the cross position, get your left foot to the corner, stand up, kick. And one last time, standard footwork. If you're not, you're presumably doing one or the other, but I'll just talk about standard footwork this time. Shift weight back, pivot the heel, foot turns to the corner, stand up, rotate the right arm, arms are crossed, heel kick, right heel kick, and stop. Just do those 2 movements, high pat thrust palm, turn body cross kick. Just keep doing them a few times on your own time, and I'll watch. Just a couple of things that I noticed that I just wanted to remind you of. The first one is with thrust palm. So what I want you to check is after you've done high pat on horse, this will do this direction. As you go forward, I want you to check two things. I want you to look down and make sure that you can see your toes. Laura, I think your knee looks quite bent to me. So check that you can see your toes when you're in your bow stance. It looks as if your knee is more like this than like this. And the other thing is look down your side, that your shoulder, your hip, and your ankles are in a straight line. So your torso isn't vertical. Your torso is leaning after you've done thrust palm, so that you're in this position, leaning forward. Yeah, nice, like that. Yes. And the other small fix, your right palm under the upper arm, Laura. So your right palm higher up under your left upper arm, higher up. Yes, like that. Yep, like that. Very good. That's great, Lorraine. That's perfect. Yep. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is actually one of the things. This is a small thing, and it may just have been a one-off. Rogelio, when you come around from thrust palm, check that your foot comes through 135 degrees. The last time when I was watching you, your foot ended up here and you were kicking in that direction. So there was actually like a 90-degree angle, which is going to be very difficult to do. So just keep an eye on that. The thing that I wanted to really talk about was the arms, how we cross our arms, how we how the arms move, and then the direction of the chest. So when we cross our arms, and this is true for cross hands or when we do the kicks, remember we don't cross at the wrists, we cross at the forearms behind the wrists. Yeah, like that. That's great. That's good. Yeah, and Lorraine, I think that's good for you too. Then the other, and then when we do the strike, the arms rotate continuously and go horizontally to here. So what I want you to try and do is, as the arm comes out, it's rotating at a constant rate. What we're not doing is coming out to here and then rotating and pushing out. It's a shallow rainbow up and out to here. Yep, and the palms are sitting at the edge. So make sure when you're in this position that your palms aren't like this, but like this, so that, and actually it'll help to absorb your chest. Oh, Laura, that's nice. Yeah, good correction. That's great, like that. Yes. So we're going from here, shallow rainbow, sitting. And you can see that when my arms are sitting, they're forward of my chest. They're not out to the side like this. They're actually, my chest is absorbed here. I've got rounded back, slightly absorbed chest. That'll also, then you won't have the temptation to have your hands out like a stop sign. If your chest is absorbed, your shoulders and elbows are dropping, you'll get that position. Now, the last thing, when we get in, so when we prepare for a kick, so if you think about, I'm doing a kick to the side direction here. When I finished my kick, my right arm is to the kicking direction, my left arm is to the back corner. So my chest, in fact, is more than corner in this direction. That's where I want you to be when your arms are crossed. So you can see if I'm kicking in that direction, my arms are not crossed here. My arms are here. So make sure that you don't have your chest square to the kicking direction. Make sure your chest is open to the side so that when you then do the kick, or in this case it's a heel kick, your chest doesn't actually have to turn in any direction. It's already there. So long story short, make sure your chest is open away from the straight direction before you do your kick. Good. Any questions before we move on? Yes, go ahead.
I don't think we discussed that when we were into the kicking section, distinguishing between the heel kick and the toe kick. well, we did say several differences, but the one I was wondering is the big difference is the position of your foot, whether you're doing this or this. But since I mix them up sometimes, I was wondering if let's say the coordination of the leg is also different. Seems to me that if you're gonna heel kick, you like lift your leg and then do this. Whether you're gonna kick with a toe, you would be doing, you see what I'm saying? A different motion of the actual leg, not only the foot.
I think so, because and the thing that in a way, yes, the visible difference is between whether we're doing a kick with, and actually it's not the toe, it's the top of the foot,
Right.
or the heel.
Right.
But the real difference is the technique that we're using. So the technique is, this is a kick up, this is a kick down, this is a stomp kick onto somebody's knee or their foot even, sort of a stomp to the foot. So I think that in this case, you would probably have the leg up as high as it goes and kick up, whereas here you'd lift it and then bend the knee down. Now, if you're Master Young, it'd be hard to see the difference, probably because his leg just goes out horizontally in both cases. But for us, yes, certainly. Here it's this, and with the heel kick, it's stomping down.
Or sideways, but
Or
stomping.
sideways. Yeah, right, because there's also this kick. This is also a heel kick. This is also a heel kick. It can go in, actually that backwards is also a heel kick. It can go in lots of directions.
Right.
And in fact, since we're talking about that, the so-called toe kick can be a kick out and it could be a kick in. Right? It can go many different directions.
Right. Right.
But the principle is different. One is kicking up, the other one's kicking down.
Thank you.
Okay. Let us move on. Susan is not there right now. So, oh yeah, she is. She was hiding. Come on out. So, since Susan is here, let's just review all the applications. Okay. So, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This was Rogelio's question, but I just wanted to sort of like show it with Susan. It's a lot clearer. So the question is, what are the applications for cross hands? So one way of thinking about that, let's say I'm here and the opponent comes from the side and punches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect here, circle. So now I've got her trapped here, and then I can do a kick. So it's essentially, this first part of the movement is a connect, trap, kick, or whatever you want to do. This movement, as we talked about, is a double ward-off. You can use it for all sorts of things. So if Susan's going to come to me here, I can just do a ward-off and do a push. I could, in fact, if she comes up, I could just do a trap here, and then I could push out of the trap. And if it's not clear which hand she's going to punch with, I can trap with this hand. I trap with my crossed arms again, but now deflect this way. Because the reason why when she punches with her left, I want to deflect to the left is that it makes her right hand go away. Whereas when she's punching with the right, I want to deflect here so that her left hand is out of range for me. Then the other movement is if she punches straight at me, I would just block up. Now, this is a connection to the movement that we'll probably get to today, which is step up 7 stars. And so you know that with step up, just hang on a second if you would, Susan, we're in snake creeps down, step up 7 stars to here. There are two meanings. This meaning is if she punches, I'm just going to block up. So in this case, the only difference is I've got fists instead of palms, but it's the same blocking up movement. The other thing, and let's turn this way, I think, I want to show you for step up 7 stars another meaning. So let's say she grabs me here. This is part of a family of things you can do with snake creeps down, right? So yeah, so for here I would come down. Now you remember that what we did a couple of weeks ago is this would be the knee to the chest. That's Golden Rooster. And so for example, if she grabs here, I come down, she punches to me, I deflect up and do a knee to the chest. That's Golden Rooster. But if she doesn't do that, I can go down and I could just come straight in and punch. So if I promise I won't hit you. So just keep your fist out of the way there. So if she grabs, I come down, come up. This is a punch to the chin. So when we show this movement, this hand is a punch to the chin, which is why the hands are quite high. And again, just like we were talking with the kicking arms, we are crossing at the forearms close to the wrist, but not at the wrist, so behind the wrist. So that's one movement. Then before we get to that, so we've done high pat on horse, thrust palm, turn body, cross kick. If you could go on that side, please. The first movement we're going to be doing today is step up, punch to the groin. And so if Susan punches to me, I protect myself here, deflect the arm, and then punch. Now what we did last, sort of in the second section, it was punch to the knee. Here it's just punching to a different target, which is punch to the groin. But it's the same movement. We deflect, pull out, punch. So that's what step forward, punch to the groin does. Are there any questions? Okay, let's call that good. So let's move ahead now. We've done the right heel kick after turn body cross kick. We're going to do step forward, punch to the groin. You know this movement. Actually, you know both parts of this movement. The first part of this movement is at the end of the second section. Right at the end of the second section, we've done a right heel kick. We go parry, block, and punch. So there's actually a parry, block, and punch at the end of the second section. That's how this movement begins. So we've done a right heel kick. The footwork is going to be sink, step center line 2 sides, toe to the corner, step through into a bow stance, and shift forward into your bow stance. That's the footwork. When we did it in the second section, it was the same footwork, but we ended up doing a transition step parry. We ended up just doing the parry, block, and punch parry. But here we're doing punch to the groin. So let's just do that footwork again. We started with the right heel kick, sink, step, center line 2 sides, shift forward, step wider into a left bow stance. The next thing is, because we're going to be punching to the groin, we're going to be we need to get our hand down to groin height. So we will actually be leaning our torso forward a bit more than usual. So let's just do the body movement without adding the hands yet. So we've done our kick, sink, step, shift forward, step into your bow stance, and pivot at the front of the hips, so the hip crease, and you're tilted more than usual. So if you look, your shoulders, hips, and knees are probably not in a line. So that's the position we want to be in. Now, you're going to punch. So your right hand is out, and it's punching horizontally into the groin. The only difference between the ending posture of this movement and punch to the knee is the angle of your elbow. When you do step forward punch, punch down, which is a punch to the knee, the arm is straight, probably about 45 degrees. Here, the elbow is bent because the groin is higher than the knee. So that's the only difference between those two movements in the ending posture. Now let's add the arms. I'll go in this way. So we've done the right heel kick. Sink, step, arms don't change. Now as you shift forward, the right hand circ comes back and the left hand comes in front. So this is the deflecting your opponent's punch. Now you shift forward, weight, brush, big circle the arm out of the way and punch. Yep, good. So do it on this side. Sink, step, shift forward, weight, bring the right hand back, big circle with the left hand, heel touch, shift forward, brush with the left hand, punch with the right. Again, we've done the right heel kick. Sink, step. Now circle the left hand, big circle, step through. You can see my right arm is nice and rounded. The fist is by my hip. I'm going to do a big brush forward and punch. If you can, hold that posture for a second. Your chest is square. The left hand is in front of your left knee. The right fist is essentially where your opponent's groin would be. Your torso is leaning forward. Make sure that even though you're not looking at the horizon, your head is still up. So don't look at your hand, have the head up. Still have the head rising, even though you're looking probably about 2 or 3 yards ahead. Okay. Let's practice that. Let me just see, are there any questions about that? No. I'm going to add the transition. Then we can practice this movement and the transition. So first, let's just review before when we did parry, block, and punch. So let's say we had parry, block, and punch, and you went into grass bird's tail. You'd shift back, weight, open both arms, circle the right arm under, close and step, shift forward, weight, ward off, right. Okay, so this is where we're going to end up with this transition. So let's just do that parry, block, and punch again to refresh ourselves. So we've done parry, block, and punch. Shift weight back slightly. Open the arms, open the left toe with body turning. So arms are open, left palm is diagonally up, right fist is diagonal. Step through, close, heel touch when the arms are closed. Shift forward, weight, ward off, right. Now we're going to do essentially the same movement starting from punch to the groin. So we're in a left bow stance again. Left hand is now in front of your left knee and you've done punch to the groin. So the first thing you're going to do is come up slightly, lift the arms, because remember your torso is bent forward. So come up, bring your torso up a little bit, okay? And then from here, open. Close and step, ward off right. Again. So we've done punch to the groin. Shift weight back, lift the arms about halfway. Now, open the arms, open the left toe. Close and step, ward off right. One more time. Punch to the groin. Shifting the torso halfway. So the torso is in line with the back leg. Open the toe, open both arms with body turning to the left. Close the arms, step, keep moving forward, ward off right. Okay. Let's do those two movements together. Yes, go ahead.
The right foot comes in a little bit towards the left foot before going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, and it's the way I think about it is it's just like all the footwork we do. For example, left brush knee, right brush knee. We are swinging this back foot through. When it starts, if I look at where my ankle is beyond where my hip joint is. When I swing it through, it's really just swinging through in the plane of the hip joint. So it comes in a little bit, but then it's got to go out again because, you know, in this position, again, my foot is outside where my hip joint is. What it's what it's not, as you correctly pointed out, Rogelio, it's not coming into the heel and out again. It's just swinging naturally about hip width as you go through to the other side. Okay? Good. All right, so we have done the right heel kick, which was the turn body cross kick. So we've got a right heel kick. We'll do punch to the groin and then grass bird's tail. So sink, step. Now big circle with the left arm, step through, right fist is by the hips, punch to the groin. Grass bird's tail, torso in line with the back leg, arms come up halfway. Now with body turning, open the arms, open the left foot, close and step ward off right. Again, right heel kick. Sink, step center line to side, right foot to the corner. Shifting forward, weight big circle with the left arm across your center, heel touch. Arm goes back the other way. Punch to the groin. Grass bird's tail. Start lifting the torso, arms come about halfway. Open the arms, close the arms and step, ward off right. One more time. We've done the right heel kick. Punch to the groin. Sink, step center line to sides. Big circle to the right with the left arm. Comes back, punch to the groin. Grass bird's tail. Shift back weight, lift the arms about halfway, open the toes, open the arms, close the arms, step through into your bow stance, lift the right, press down with the left, ward off right. So do that on your own time a couple of times. Let's just see how it's going. One thing I want to mention and to just check, Rogelio, when you do it, and I can't tell from the camera, when you're in this ward off right position, just check that there is that your fingertip is a bit higher than the elbow, so that the arm is not horizontal. It's just got a slight lift, so, you know, elbow down. So the thing that I want to review is going in the transition for step up grass bird's tail. So let's start, and the thing I want to emphasize is this opening of both arms and then the close. So let's say we're in punch down here. So the first thing we do is lift both arms up. This looks good. Now what I want you to do is turning to the left, rotate the left arm, and yeah, okay. So what I want you to do is the left hand is just going to go into ward off. So yeah, it just goes into a ward off, not too much like this, just into a nice ward off. And then the right arm is also going to open to the other side, so that the one is open to the one side, the one is open to the other side. And if you look at the angles, yeah, that's good. This hand is angled in this direction, and this hand is angled in this direction. So it's almost like stretching toffee. As you come up, you just open, you stretch something between the hands, then they close, ward off right. So let's...
Do that
Yes,
again.
and so, go ahead, Laura.
Do that again, but go sideways.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Because I can't. Right and left or backward.
I'll do sideways both sides. Actually, I want to show you my foot because this when we open, it's actually driven, waist leads the limbs, so it's actually as the foot opens, the chest opens. So we've done punch to the groin here. So we align the torso. Now we're going to open, the left hand goes up and out, and the right hand goes down and out. So you can see again, so from here, I come up, both arms are about 45 degrees. Now as I turn my chest, one goes up a little bit, one goes down a little bit. Then I'll come through, ward off right. Let me do it on the other side in case that's a better view for you. So I'm in punch to the groin here. Align the torso. You can see both arms about 45. Now the right arm goes down a bit, the left arm goes up a bit. Then they close and go forward.
Okay.
Got it. Good. Yes.
This is the Chengfu, right?
Correct.
And when after you after you did this, there was a grabbing, right?
Yes.
Close.
Yeah, so this step up Chengfu is essentially a ward-off grab and then do the ward-off right.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, Lorraine.
When does the fist open?
I'm sorry, say again?
After you punch down, when
Yes.
does the fist open?
Oh, great question. Great question. So to here, and actually, yeah, so I've done punch down, I lift, I've still got a fist here. The fist opens to a palm as I close. So I've got a fist, as I close, the fist opens. And in fact, just to connect this to another part of the form, the other place where we do this step up Chengfu is from parry, block, and punch. So you can see parry, block, and punch, I've got a fist as well, right? And so from here, I'm going to open. You can see one arm comes up, one arm comes down. I've still got a fist here. Now as I close, I release my fist. So it's the same coordination. The fist goes to the open at the same time in both movements. Okay, are we ready to move on? Looks like it. Getting nods, getting thumbs. Good. So there's a lot of repeats after this. We've done grass bird's tail, row back, press push, single whip, snake creeps down. This is the last chunk, so because the last chunk before snake creeps down, there is not a cloud hands. So you just go straight from single whip into snake creeps down. So let's look at the movement after snake creeps down here, which is step up 7 stars. So we're in snake creeps down here. So it begins just like Golden Rooster. Shift weight forward, bring the right foot in, open the left toe, pull with the left hand. Now it's going to be different. Now the right hand is going to come to the corner of the ribs, make a fist. The left hand is going to make a fist, step into an empty stance and cross your fists. So the footwork is the same. Well, let's just review the footwork. So the footwork is we're in snake creeps down, shift weight forward, close the back foot to a standard bow stance. Open the left foot, step through, center line 2 sides, ball touch, empty stance. Do that again. So we're in snake creeps down, shift forward, weight, close the back foot to a standard bow stance. shift weight back slightly, open the left toe. Now you're going to step through with this right foot into a ball touch empty stance. When you did Golden Rooster, you just kept going all the way up. So that's the difference here. In Golden Rooster, you went all the way up. Here, you're just going to go through into a ball touch empty stance. The other difference with Golden Rooster is, if you recall, the fist came down, it sat in front of your thigh and then did the lifting up. That was Golden Rooster. Here the path is going to be different. Here, as my hand comes down, I make a fist. It comes to the corner of my ribs, so you can see it's sort of at the bottom of my ribs, like on the corner, and then I'm going to punch up. So let's just practice that path. It's a sort of a half circle, sort of a lazy half circle. It's going to come down, sit at the corner of the ribs, and then just go back up again to punch to the chin. And when we punch, you know, the energy point is the flat of the front of the fist. And when we finish, the arms will be crossed. Let's see if that, yep, it did come back. So as you recall, that is, we call the fist eye. We call this the fist tail. So the fist eyes are looking at you. You've got a slight sit. Your palms are not in line with the forearms. There's a slight flex there. And we're crossed the forearms behind the wrists. Yeah, like that. Very good. And so that's the ending posture. So let's combine all of that. So we're in snake creeps down. So 1, shift forward weight, close the back foot to a bow stance. 2, open the left toe, same as before. 3, make fists, right fist to the rib, empty stance, punch. Do it again. Snake creeps down. Shift forward weight, close the back foot. Shift weight back slightly, open the left foot, grab and pull with the left. Now the left fist, make a fist on the left, right fist comes to the ribs, empty stance, punch. The thing that I want to add, and we'll work through this a couple more times, as I said earlier, there are 2 applications. One is this punch that we've talked about. So there's a punch. But the other is if somebody's striking to me and I'm deflecting them, it's essentially just deflecting forward and up. So what I'd like you to think about is when we do this movement at the end, there's a slight extension here. So we don't just cross here and stop. There's a slight extension forward. There's a slight extension in the arms, and there's a slight movement in the waist forward. Our hips don't move, right, because you've got 70-30 here, but there is this little slight forward movement. A place to connect it to the rest of the form is if you think about white crane, actually. So we do white crane right at the end. When we root here, there's this slight extension in white crane. It's the same thing here. There's a slight extension at the end of 7 stars. And Laura, remember that we cross in the forearms, not at the wrists. Yeah, beautiful. Yes, Rogelio.
That last extension, at least in white crane, if I remember correctly, was a bit of torso flexing at the hip.
It's a bit of, yeah, it's a waist movement. There's a little bit of waist movement. And also there's, you know, as your arm comes up, you know, it's protecting your head so that you might even show a little bit of energy going that way. But and if your waist doesn't allow a waist movement, that's okay. You don't have to show it. But what I want to caution you against is not to do this. So don't shift your weight forward. Keep your weight back in the empty stance, and you can use your arms to show that extension. Use the waist, but don't move your weight forward onto the front foot. Keep it 70-30.
Okay, but that movement could be the I don't know, part of the routine too. This.
Yes, but rooting. But for me, the rooting, you root by essentially establishing that resistance in the front foot, but the push and support between the front and the back, and you want to make sure you've got 30%. But a lot of that actually comes from the friction between your feet. And yes, there is some weight, because you don't have 100% of your weight on the back foot. It's a combination of vertical weight down and then ground reaction force from the friction coming backwards.
Right.
Okay. And so we're not going to have a chance to review how all these movements connect. We'll practice that next week when we do the sequence. Let's just do these two movements that we did today. We'll do punch to the groin, grass bird's tail. Let's just do that. So we started with a right heel kick. So sink, step, big circle with the left arm, step through, right fist at the hip, punch to the groin. Grass bird's tail, shift weight back, align your torso, arms halfway now. Open the left foot, open both arms, left up, right down, close and step, releasing the fist, ward off, right. And then the other movement we did today was snake creeps down. 7 stars. So we start from snake creeps down. So if you perform snake creeps down, shift forward weight, close the back toe, open the front foot. This is standard. Now shifting weight through, bring the right fist to the ribs, come through, root with the right, cross the arms, check your ending posture. You can see your fist, eyes, both wrists are sitting slightly, and you're crossed at the forearms behind the wrists. And release. Any questions? Let's finish there, and then we'll talk about announcements after that. 同学们，再见。
老师再见。